Jasmyne and Vince.
The JasVynce Show.
The JasVynce Show.
What's happening? Welcome to a new episode of the JasVynce Show. Vince is currently on hiatus, so it's just me today. Jazz, I'm here at your service. We're talking about the latest episode of Married at First Sight, Season 17, Episode 9, titled Wigging Out. As the newlyweds are only just beginning to navigate challenges of living with a stranger spouse, they host their first housewarming party together. But not all is fun and games as tensions flare and quickly devolve into a shouting match. I wonder who we could be talking about. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I will be replying to all the comments. Let's get into it. All right. First couple, I believe, is Becca and Austin. All right. I don't have too much about them. So they met up with each other's friends. Well, yeah, basically met up with each other's friends. And her friends seemed to love Austin. And for some reason they lied. She lied. They were like, "Oh, are you guys talking about deep stuff?" And they're both like, "Yeah, totally." And I was like, if I recall correctly, they don't really talk about deep stuff. She brings up, "Hey, should we talk about this?" And he's like, "Yeah, but not right now." So I feel like they're avoiding deep stuff. They clearly connect, but it seems like they both know that religion is the main thing that they are not aligned on. High key. I secretly think this is a huge issue for them and they're downplaying it. Because not that religion is like the end all be all, but I do think it's a bigger problem I would say on his end. But I feel the same way about it that I did with her divulging that she has like an illness. I feel like he's like, "Oh yeah, cool, everything's totally fine." But I could see him blindsiding her on decision day. And I really hope not, because I think that she's going to be like in love by then. So that's all I got for Becca and Austin. Moving on to Cameron, or Clare and Cameron. I don't know if I should give them the name Cameron because they just don't seem to be on the same page. So this episode, she visits him at work. She's like, "Oh, I'm gonna take him a sandwich or whatever." So I'm like, okay, that's cute. You visiting your husband at work. So I'm like, oh, they gonna hug. He gonna get a kiss or something. No kiss again. I think Cameron's a liar, but I do understand what he's saying about the body language and stuff. I think I called her an ice princess this episode because she's just very much like straight face. She reminds me of like an interviewer from hell is what she reminds me of. So basically this episode, Claire is super stressed out about the party. I feel like she was more stressed out about this party than she was about getting married to a stranger, which is weird to me. Of course, Cameron is not helping because he shows up at the house with no food. His job was to get the food. So then they're going back and forth about it. She told him, "Oh, we'll just get food." So he ended up ordering the food and it's 5 hours too early, basically. So the food gonna be crusty and musty and dusty empanadas. And nobody wants dusty empanadas. So what I thought was weird was that none of his friends came to the housewarming, which goes back to the fact that I think he's a liar. There's something going on with his family or his friendships. It's something up with him. It's like, what's the show? Help I'm in a secret relationship. That's what he be getting. Because I feel like we saw people, but were they paid actors at the wedding? Because something is up with this guy. I don't know what it is, but something is up with him. What did I say? So her friends come. Only one friend was there. I don't know what the girl name was. I didn't get anybody's name this episode. But she's like, "Oh, so what did she ask?" She asked something like, "Oh, so do your parents know that you got married? Oh, does your dad support the marriage, whatever?" And he was like, he don't know. He said his dad didn't know. And then she was like, oh, really? She was like, well, what should I tell a man that's on his deathbed? And I'm like, is this a joke? I was like, is this one of those off-place jokes again? But then I realized I think he's actually being serious. But then they did the flashback to at the wedding, because at the wedding he didn't necessarily, she said, do your parents know that you're in this process? And he didn't say yes or no. He skipped past it and said, oh yeah, my goal is to go back to New Zealand and have a wedding with my family. So I was like, technically that's a kind of a lie by omission if his parents didn't know. But either way, it's weird as hell to just, I want to call it like word vomit, that your dad is on the deathbed and your wife has no clue. But I feel like she's openly talked about her brother committing suicide. Like, I feel like there's been so many instances where like that could kind of easily be dialed into the conversation, and he didn't say it. So basically, Claire, being the therapist that she is, she feels like she's not enough of a wife, or like creating an open and trusting environment for him to feel safe to share. And I think that as a therapist, I feel like Claire could be, I think Claire is probably a good therapist and makes her clients feel open enough to share, but you can't therapize your husband. Like, you have to create an emotionally safe space for him to want to share, not in a professional environment. So basically her two male friends show up, and I'm pretty sure they were drunk. The one guy looked super drunk. Like, look at him. He looked drunk in the face to me. And he was like kind of slurring his words a little bit. So I was like, oh, they toasted. They pre-gamed. So basically all the friends are like, bam, 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 asking him questions back to back. All therapist questions. What made you want to do this? He was like, it feels like it was the right time in his life. And I was just like, this is why you should stop hiding your friends and family and invite somebody to this, because you need backup. You need somebody else to bounce off. You basically getting, not the word, I wasn't going to say that word. I was going to say gangbang. That sounds wild. But you're basically getting attacked with a million questions because it's just them versus you. So basically they split up. She go talks to her homegirl, and the guys go talk to him, and he's like, he's getting feelings for Claire, and he feels like she's the smartest girl that he's been with. But I honestly, from this, I feel like they feel the exact same way about each other, which is me. Like, it's just lukewarm. Like, I could see it working, but there's no spark. And also, I feel like for him, what I'm realizing is that he insinuated that she never asked him information, but I feel like she does ask him for information. It's just like from a professional therapist vibe of asking, not from I'm your wife and I want to connect with you. And I feel like he's genuinely scared of rejection, because he's like, he finds it difficult to open up to her because he isn't getting any feelings from her. And that's why I say he's scared of rejection. Because he wants to know, like, somebody super into him before he divulges information. But you're married, bro. Like, put up or shut up at this point. So, anyway, I was a little bit over it. Then, what else happened? They had a poll. I've been enjoying these polls. Sorry, I dropped my phone. I've been enjoying these polls. And the poll was, do you need your friends' approval of your partner? Yeah, I dropped it here. Yeah. So for me, I said it's a mix between A, B, and C, honestly. I mean, I think it's mostly B. Like, you don't need the approval, but you want it, and I promise you it helps your relationships go further, having, everybody getting along and the support. So y'all let me know what y'all think about this poll. All right, moving on to the couple formerly known as Orion. Orion meets with his friend, and he's talking about his family is sad that he didn't get what he wanted out of this experience. Orion can go to hell for all I care at this point. I'm over him. He takes no accountability, and he's a hypocrite. Like, you got extended grace, you didn't want to give grace, and then now you're trying to point the finger at her. I'm not rocking with him at all. That's it. Lauren's family basically told her that it takes two people to be committed and make a relationship work. And I feel like in so many words said that he's an idiot, don't talk to him, and he's gonna regret it. And I kind of agree with all of that. Because I feel like in After Party when he was on there, it did seem like he was like regretting not being able to work through things. And what else Orion was saying? He was saying like his friend was asking him if he wants to start dating again or whatever. And he was like, no, I feel like I had feelings. You know, there were feelings with Lauren and I'm just not ready. I'm like, why you couldn't work through those feelings to like work it out with your wife? You were already married to her. You're not going to find a girl like that again. Especially she's older and more accomplished than you and you live with your mom. Sorry. I said what I said. So moving on to Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and Emily. I like to call her Cindy Lou Who. I said, he's smiling this episode. Interesting. So basically, he said that he was excited that he decided to move in this episode. I guess he's recommitted to the relationship or whatever because he was on some other stuff. He was PMSing last week. So this week, he's renewed apparently. So he moves in with his 2 suitcases, which was, I guess that was commitment for him. And then I wrote, she has 5,100 suitcases. Why do we need all of this right now? She had like when you have a like a friend's giving or something and you have those big like salad bowl, like the serving size. She had like 7 of those. I was like, why do you need this? Like, this is how long is this? Like 8 weeks? You don't need all of this. Like, you bring what you gonna bring. You figure out if you work on the marriage, figure out if it's gonna work. And then you bring the rest of your stuff in. Like, that, I don't know what she was doing, but she's giving me pack rat. And he seemed very organized. So I think that her being all over the place and messy is going to drive him nuts. So they decided to have a theme party, which I thought that was interesting because I haven't seen any themes this season. Like, I feel like normally they do like Taco Tuesday or pink or something, right? So theirs was a wig party. Why, I don't know. They went to the costume store and got the cheapest wigs on the planet. I wrote down that her friends talk like high valley girls. High, valley girls. Like Clueless, y'all. But they seemed really high to me. I don't know. Everybody seemed like they was under the influence. So I found it massively hilarious this episode because everybody was fighting, but they had these ridiculous wigs on. So it was really hard for me to take it seriously. So basically they split up. She went to go talk to her friend and her 2 best friends that supposedly wasn't at the wedding, which I was like, how are these your best friends that wasn't at the wedding? Was weird to me. Basically started interrogating him and was like, how do you plan to be the backbone for her? What made you do this? And I feel like he was trying to answer the question. I do feel like they jumped down his throat and then they started cussing. That was the thing, that the switch for me. I was like, you're cussing at him because you don't like that he's defending himself. And y'all know I'm not a fan of Brennan at all. I do think he's an asshole. And I think that he switches, is something up with him. But they jumped down his throat and then were claiming like, oh, she didn't tell us anything. But there was clearly a conversation had because they're like, you don't like the film and da-da-da-da. I'm like, y'all didn't just pull that out of nowhere. Like, you had a conversation with her, then just admit that you had a conversation. But I think that Brennan gonna believe in divorce after this. I said that. I said it. He said he don't believe in divorce. He gonna believe in divorce after this. But I think that Emily is doing better than I expected her to do. I actually like her now. What were they saying? They were picking him apart, talking about he's not a partner because, as we know, Emily had broken her hand. and they were calling him out saying like, oh, you didn't help her set up, and she was plating all the food and stuff out of the oven. And he's like, hold on, so is the issue that I didn't help her set up? Like, y'all weren't here when we were setting up before y'all even arrived? So they going back and forth with these stupid ass wigs on their head, and I really cannot, to be honest. But long story short, her friends wanted all the smoke. I think they was really mad they didn't get invited to the wedding is really what I'm thinking it was about. But that's neither here nor there. After they leave, Brennan basically kind of gave Emily the heads up, like, I had to defend myself. I feel like they was jumping down my throat. And she was like, you know what, I apologize on their behalf. And he was like, you know what, I appreciate her support or whatever. But flashback to fast forward to next week. On the preview, it looked like Brennan was back to being an asshole. And this time to Dr. Pia. Like, he was like, yeah, so I'ma just talk for her. I'ma help her. He's giving misogynistic to me. He's giving, I'm a controller. Like, he's giving maybe abusive. Like, I might be reaching, but these are the signs to me. And she said on the after party, Emily said that he doesn't want her to say anything mildly negative on camera, even though they have to discuss their feelings. So this is going to be an issue. That is my recap, guys. Please let me know how y'all feel about these couples. We're going to get into some ratings real quick. Drop your ratings down below. Sorry. So, for who am I rating first? Brennan and Emily. Last week I gave them a 4, so I think I'm gonna still give them a 4. Like, they're not moving up for me. If anything, they're going down, and 4 is generous. For Clare and Cameron, I gave them a 6. I'm bringing them back down to 4 too, because this man is lying. Like, I know what a pathological liar looks like, and something is up with this guy. Like, he's a walking red flag. It's something going on, and I can't wait to figure out what it is. For Becca and Austin, I gave them a 7. I do think they're doing well, but I'm gonna give them a 6.5 this week because I think that this religion thing is gonna blow up at some point, or like I said, her illness or something. Because I think that Austin plays everything super cool and like he's neutral. But I think that he's the type of guy that will be neutral and cool with you. And you like, oh, yeah, we're going to stay married. And then decision day happen. I want a divorce. But, you know, they give the good speech before. They go, oh, it's been, you know, these past 8 weeks have been great. Da, 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 da. But I want a divorce. And then you just be sitting there confused. And she going to be crying. All right. Lauren, girl, you get a 10. No, you get a 9. Because you still taking some of that fault. And it's not on you, boo-boo. Orion, negative 1,000. Trash. The trash man. Okay? All right, guys. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Leave your comments down below. Leave your ratings down below. If there's any other shows you want us to cover, if you enjoyed me, let me know. Vince will be back soon, guys. This has been another episode of the JasVynce Show. Peace.
Jasmyne and Vince.
The